Hello students, this is the second video of the story, The Little Match Girl. If you have missed the previous video, I recommend that you watch that. Or anyway, I'll give a brief recap of the story until what I have taught. This story is about a little girl who is walking on a cold, dark night, shivering and hungry. Nobody takes pity on her. Nobody buys even a single matchstick from her. And at the end of the day, when everybody is celebrating on the New Year's Eve, she huddles in a heap in the corner of two houses to protect herself from the cold. But she did not get any warmth. She was getting colder and colder. And she, in spite of all this, she was afraid to go home. What was the reason for it? Because she had not sold a single matchstick and had not earned a single penny. This is where we stopped in the last class. Let me continue. I'm in page number 89 in the first paragraph. Her father would be sure to beat her, and besides, it was so cold at home, for they had nothing but the roof above them, and the wind whistled through that, even though the largest cracks were stuffed with straw and rags. Her thin hands were almost numb with cold. If only she dared pull just one small match from the packet, strike it on the wall, and warm her fingers. See, earlier we saw how she was shivering on the street. Nobody paid any attention to her, and how she huddled in a heap in the corner formed by two houses. This is where she is now. She doesn't dare go home. And why? Because her father was sure to beat her. He is the one who has sent her to sell matches while everyone is enjoying. She's out there on the cold night trying to sell matchsticks. Nobody pities her. Nobody gives her anything. And if she goes home, okay, her father is definitely to beat her. And what is the use of going home anyway? Because here also she'll be suffering from cold. Even if she goes home also, she'll be suffering from cold. What is the reason? Because their house is in a very dilapidated condition, in a very bad condition. It was nothing. The house was nothing but a roof above them. It's only a basic house. And how was the roof? Okay, where the wind whistled through that, even though the largest cracks were stuck with straw and rags. It was a house in name only. Because it was so weak, the roof had developed so many cracks that they had to stuff it with rags and straw. But it was not sufficient. One could actually feel the wind rustling through them, whistling through those cracks. So even if she is outside also, she is suffering from the same cold. Even if she went home also, she will be suffering from the same cold. So it is better if she goes home. One more danger is there. What is the danger? Her father is going to beat her. It is better to stay there only in the out near the corner of two houses. Her thin hands were almost numb with cold. Previously, we had seen how she did not have proper clothing. She did not wear gloves. She did not have a cap. She did not have warm jacket, and she did not even have shoes. She was walking bareheaded and barefooted. So natural now, her hands are now almost numb with cold. The only wish at that time, what is she aspiring for? She wants to warm herself. The only way by which she can warm herself, if she dare just pull one small match from the packet. She wants that courage to just take out. See, she's sent to sell the matches. She cannot use it for personal use, but she only wants to take out one matchstick. If she has the courage to, she questions herself whether she has the courage to take out one match from the packet, strike it on the wall, and warm her fingers. Now her greatest aspiration is to warm herself. Let us see what she does, whether she'll take action, whether she will strike a match. Let us go and see the next paragraph. She pulled one out, scratch, how it spluttered and burned. It had a warm, bright flame, like a tiny candle when she held her hand over it. But what a strange light! It seemed to the little girl as if she was sitting in front of a great iron stove with polished brass knobs and brass ornaments. The fire burned so beautifully and gave out such a lovely warmth. Oh, how wonderful that was. The child had already stretched her feet to warm them too when out went the flame. The stove vanished, and there she sat with the burnt match in her hand. Finally, she dared to strike the match. And did you notice the word scratch? What is it, children? Yes, it is the figure of speech, onomatopoeia. What is onomatopoeia, by the way? Yes, it is a word which resembles the sound that is produced. Just like we say, a snake hisses, a bee buzzes. So, but we don't say a dog bow bowed. That is not onomatopoeia for you. So here, when she lights the matchstick, what is the sound? How does it sound? Scratch. How it spluttered and burned. It came into life, the matchstick, with a loud sound. It had a warm, bright flame, like a tiny candle when she held her hand over it. See, again a figure of speech. Similar, how did it look like? Like a tiny candle. For her, it seems so big. The flame from the matchsticks looks like a tiny candle. And how is it described? Warm, bright flame. But what a strange light. Then suddenly she realized that there was something strange. It seemed to the little girl as if she was sitting in front of a great iron stove with polished brass knobs and brass ornaments. Suddenly there is a vision. When she strikes the first matchstick, she sees a vision. What is that vision? What does she see in that vision? She sees a great iron stove. Children, there will be 4 visions that she will be seeing. So this is the first vision that she sees here. So let us see what she does. Okay, so what does she see in that first vision? She sees a great iron stove with polished brass knobs and brass ornaments. So the fire burned so beautifully and gave out such a lovely warmth. So when she visualizes that, what does she see in the flame? She sees an iron stove with brass knobs and ornaments. Please underline all these things. The fire burnt. How is the fire described from that iron stove? It was so beautiful and gave out such a lovely warmth. What did that girl at that point in life want the most? It was the warmth. So it is the manifestation, the visions are a manifestation of her innermost desire. What was her innermost desire at that point of time? She wanted warmth. And so when she lights the flame, that is what she actually sees. All her innermost desires are fulfilled. So the fire burned so beautifully and gave out such a lovely warmth. What she wanted, that is what she sees in those visions. Oh, how wonderful that was. This is an exclamatory sentence. If you change it to assertive statement, what will it be? It was very wonderful. The child had already stretched her feet to warm them when she gets that warmth feeling. Earlier, she had huddled, pulled her legs and hands together, but now she starts to stretch her hands and legs to feel the warmth. And then what happened while she's about to realize all this? What happens? Out went the flame. What do you mean by that? The matchstick blew out. It extinguished. The stove vanished. The minute the flame extinguished, blew out, what happened? The stove vanished. Vanished, it means disappeared. And there she sat with the burnt match in her hand. The minute the flame got extinguished, the vision also disappeared. So now this is what we are, the symbolically what this sight means. It is this iron stove is symbolic of the feelings of warmth and safety which she longed for, and it reminded her of the love and affection which she got from her grandmother. Now she has enjoyed that warmth. Will she stop at the first matchstick? Let us see what she does now. She struck another. Naturally, now she has enjoyed that warmth. She wants to see what will happen next when she lights another matchstick. She struck another. It burned clearly, and where the light fell upon the wall, the bricks became transparent like gauze. She could see right into the room where a shining white cloth was spread on the table. It was covered with beautiful china, and in the center of it stood a roast goose stuffed with prunes, apples, steaming deliciously. And what was even more wonderful was that the goose hopped down from the dish, waddled across the floor with carving knife and fork in its back, waddled straight up to the poor child. Then out went the match, and nothing could be seen but the thick, cold wall. So now she strikes another matchstick, and naturally it burned brightly, it burned clearly. And where the light fell upon the wall, please remember she is sitting between two walls, in the corner of two walls. So magically it seemed as if the bricks became transparent like a gauze. What do you mean by a gauze? It can be a very fine wire mesh or a thin transparent fabric of silk, linen or cloth. It seemed as if it's a see-through, almost see-through. It is transparent. So it became, the wall became transparent like gauze. She could see right into the room where a shining white cloth was spread on the table. So it's as if the walls have become transparent, and through that wall now she can see something. What does she see when she lights the second matchstick? So she is having a second vision. What does she see in that second vision? So she is seeing into a room where a shining white cloth was spread on the table. Now there is a dining table on which there is a white tablecloth. Okay, it was covered with beautiful china, and in the center of it stood a roast goose stuffed with prunes and apples, steaming deliciously. What do you mean by china? Is it what we are referring to, the country China? No, it was covered with beautiful china, means it is porcelain dish made with baked clay. So these are all delicate crockery. So the whole table was filled with beautiful china porcelain dishes. And in the center, what was there, children? There was a roasted goose. So already in the beginning, we see how every house she could get the aroma of the roasted goose, because usually during New Year and Christmas, people cook roasted goose. And she saw the same thing on the table. And how is that roasted goose? It is stuffed with prunes, apples, steaming deliciously. She can see the steam coming out of it. And what was even more wonderful, already she is seeing a vision. On top of that, what else does she see? She sees something more wonderful. What is that? It was that goose hopped down from the dish, waddled across the floor with carving knife and fork in its back, waddled straight up to the poor child. Can you see the picture here, children? How she visualizes everything here? So she sees all this on that, and the food. It seemed as if the goose was coming to her, walking towards her with the knife, as if asking her to use it and eat it. So, and then when it is about to reach her, what happens? Out went the match. So the flame blew out, the matchstick blew out, and nothing could be seen but the thick, cold wall. Okay, I'll stop here today, children. In the next class, I will tell you the symbolic meaning of the second vision. Please revise at home. See you in the next class. Thank you.